Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show. I'm your host, Bob Waltenspiel, hanging out with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, the illustrious one. This is going to take about 10 minutes to give you all your titles. He is one of the stars of AMC's Comic Book, and he is the owner of a shared universe PodcaStudio, or is it PodcaStudio? He is, you know what? I'm going to coin you Captain. Is it Mr. or Captain Comic-Con? Which one's better?
It is I think it's Mr. Comic-Con.
Let's go Mr. Comic-Con himself. If you recognize the voice, that is the one and only Ming Chen. We are going to have a blast today talking all things Astronomicon. Ming's coming back to Michigan, so brace yourselves, warm up your livers, and it's about to get good. You can find us online, itinthed.com, and do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold. Don't forget, we're going to be at Urban Rest. We are booked there for the time being. I believe it's St. Practice Day that we're going, right? March 16th, Randy?
March 16th?
I believe so. Maybe I'm wrong, but check us out on meetup.com/itinthed. We will be at Urban Rest. We have a private back room. We're back to doing the normal things. Little housekeeping though. A lot of people getting cut in the IT scene in Detroit. Couple companies near and dear to us lost some peeps, so we might be thinking about throwing a pink slip party. So stay tuned. We need to find a venue, so reach out if you got a place that we can house a bunch of geeks finding jobs. So appreciate it. So Ming, how you doing? You are in the podcast studio right now. How is
I am. Life is treating me great. Happy to be returning back to the D, and yeah, I miss both of you dearly. I think about both of you pretty much every day.
It's you make it easy to keep in touch with you because you are all over the world every minute of the day, and you post every amazing venue that you can get your hands on. How do you find these people that take you to these places? Because I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go there every time I see a post you make.
I think you guys started it all. I think, what was it? Maybe 2017. I came over after Astronomicon. I go to the your original studios, the one on the second floor, that one building, and we recorded, and then you're like, well, let's post party, right? And we had like Nancy Whiskey, and we had like 5 places.
We went Cass Corridor,
yeah, and I think that cemented my love of hanging out with locals and having them take me to their favorite dive bars. Like, it was a magical night.
You just loved it that the lady at Telway recognized you. I remember that vividly.
We did, as per tradition, we did end up at Telway at 2 a.m. Yep. And the one lone old woman flipping burgers back there. I was like, oh my God, you're Ming Chen.
And the only thing she like whispers, she goes, is that him? And I'm like, yeah, just say hi. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. So I was like, I'll take 4 with everything, order fries. And she's like, the only thing I have for you to sign is this greasy paper bag from the Telway. And I mean, like that's when you've made it, right?
Yeah, hands down, no question. I know you can't sit inside anymore, but we'll try to figure something out. We'll definitely have to take you over there.
Well, so still, you can't, like, post COVID. It's not.
No, they never opened up the inside. It's like storage now. So like, I stop once in a while, but it's the to-go window only. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. The food's better when it's sitting in wax paper. The sliders, it just the stink. It like gets it, it cooks itself in its own, greases and
it stinks so good.
It's the best. It is the best. So you are coming in town. Wait, hold on a minute. Before we get into Astronomicon, have you missed a con weekend this year, or even like going back 6 months? I feel like you were every weekend you're somewhere. You were in Pensacola last week. I can't even keep up anymore, all the places you've been to, but yeah, have you missed a weekend yet?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was going right up until Christmas, and then I was off for 2 months, and yeah, I mean, you need a break somehow. Even robots need, even like C-3PO needs to get the oil bath and shit. So, yeah, it flew. I missed it, but sometimes you got to sit still for a little bit, right?
So you're saying you're taking oil baths? Is that?
I mean, yes, thank the maker, right? So,
as you're drinking Malort, which probably could be worse than probably the oil he is sitting in.
Oh yeah, so, for sure.
Way,
yeah,
we haven't done a cheers in a while, so customary cheers. Always good seeing you.
Cheers. Yeah, I thought I wasn't going to start until like Astronomicon, and 2 weeks ago I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Breaking Bad country, and what had happened was I met a filmmaker at a Kevin Smith's Film Festival. Um, for anybody who doesn't know, Kevin Smith bought a movie theater, a local small movie theater in the area, and he's made it his own. It's called the Smodcastle Cinemas.
Mhm.
So he podcasts there. He shows films there. He did like a Mallrats reunion there. He's got all this stuff planned for it. But he held a film festival there, and I met a filmmaker by the name of Alejandro Montoya Marin.
Great,
And
great villain name.
yeah, for anybody who watched Rebel Without a Crew on the El Rey network, he was one of the contestants. And we saw films. We went out drinking, and by the end of the night, it's like, hey man, so I'm shooting this feature film in Albuquerque in February. I've got this small part as an Asian mob boss. Would you be interested?
Did damn right.
Yeah, and I was like, you're shooting in Albuquerque. I get to go to Albuquerque and be in a movie and play an Asian mob boss. Like what? Yeah, like it's a dream role in a dream city. So yeah, I went and did it. Shot in knocked out in one day. Wore a pretty ridiculous outfit, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Did you get a line or were you silent?
Yeah, no. I got like I had 6 lines. I got cut down to 4, but it was still like I got lines. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, there was an indie movie. I think Dave Hayes. I think you met him once or twice. They did a local movie, and they were filming in the podcast studio, and I happened to be on the couch looking at my phone, and the cameraman just kind of swung over, and they called me the guy on the couch. So I basically am like Stephen Wright in Half Baked. I'm the guy on the couch. That was my credit line. So,
wow,
hey,
I'm sure you went full method on that one. De Niro,
I totally did. Yeah, it was tough to play
Driver,
that part. Yeah. So you'll be in town for Astronomicon. That's March 3rd through 5th. It's going to be at the Burton Manor in Livonia. And I'm not going to lie, man. Mike and the crew outdid themselves this year. Like the guest lineup is, I don't want to call it obscene. It is like literally obscene. If you are into from anything from horror to pop culture to pro wrestling, like this is like literally the place to be.
Yeah, I'm excited because basically all my friends are taking over this convention. So if you go down the lineup, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Brian O'Halloran, and Jeff Anderson from Clerks, and then Jason Lee and Ethan Suplee from Mallrats.
Insane.
Yeah, and then Kevin's daughter Harley Quinn Smith is coming out with her actor slash boyfriend Austin Zager, who I met last week. Great guy. Yeah, it's basically the whole Viewsk universe is going to be there.
Like Joey Lauren Adams, who
Joey Lauren Adams. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, how could you forget her?
Right. I had to. We were talking about it. I introduced my daughter to Chasing Amy, which is a phenomenal flick. But I'm like, you have no idea. Every guy, she was like her voice, and I'm like, everyone had a crush on that. I don't care who you were. You had a crush on Joey Lauren Adams at one point in your life.
Yeah. And and she still has a voice. It was funny. She owes me one, gentlemen. She owes me one. We were at a dive bar in Columbus, Ohio back in December, and just kind of gathering, and they took off to go to dinner. A couple minutes goes by. I look down at the bar stool she was sitting at. She left her purse there.
Oh.
And I rescued it and ran it back to her, and she'll never forget that.
So you're gonna have to bring her to Hamtramck. That's hey, you owe me. You have to go to Hamtramck.
You know what? There's stranger things have happened. So yeah, that almost topped the time that I found Tara Reid's cell phone.
Right. Well, is that the time when I serenaded her with Careless Whisper at Motor City?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, she was probably like half in the bag, so she didn't know what you were saying to her.
I'm gonna throw it under the bus. I don't care. It was 10:30 in the morning. My car, I'm unloading, and Jimmy McKnight, one of my favorite podcasters and human beings of all time, gives me a bottle of Jameson. Is like I forget what it was. I think it was my birthday, and I'm outside to my car. I'm 10 feet away, and I hear her, and she's 10 feet away from me, the other way, and going, I would kill for a shot of whiskey right now. And here I am. I knew I had a bottle of Jameson in my trunk. And I'm like, I took one look at her. It was 10:30 in the morning, Ming. And I'm like, there's no way I'm enabling this human being. Like she looked at like a mess. No. But when I saw her later, I serenaded her in karaoke, Careless Whisper, called her out. She's 2 seats away from me. It
Yes,
got a couple
but
laughs. Got a couple laughs.
that would have been great. 10:30 JMO, like you would have done it with her. So
I
it's
would
not
have totally
enabling.
done
You
it
would,
with her. Yeah. I
yeah,
was, when you're hungover, you know how it goes.
sure,
I'm just saying. But like, I know my brother-in-law is beside himself that Hellraiser Pinhead, like the guy, is gonna be here. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding me? Like, seriously, I'm looking through this stuff and I'm like, it. People got to be on overload. Like, literally, I think you need to bring like $2,000 in your like because it's all cash, like just for all the stuff going on. It's insane. Like, how do
yeah.
you? Is there anyone like I wanted to wait a while to get this, but like, is there anyone that you mark out over that you still like? You're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it because Astro is cool where everybody sits with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at this point, like the announcement is like, and I've probably met them already at this point, and we've gone out drinking or something has happened. So, the last time I was next to Shannon Elizabeth, and like, come
Ah,
on, and that was cool. Like, I played in her charity poker tournament a few years before, so you were high fiving, and she's DJing '80s tunes, and I don't like that's just cool. This year, I'm real excited that Trish Stratus is going to be there. I like who doesn't love Trish Stratus? Like my favorite Canadian, my favorite female wrestler. Yeah, and I mean it doesn't hurt.
when she got announced, what did I text you? I said, you have one job and one job only. Get Trish
Yes.
Stratus to a dive bar with all of us.
Not out of the question. She does love me, so we'll see, man. We'll see.
Because I mean, Livonia, I mean, God love the Astro guys, but Livonia is not what you would consider a remotely fun town. It's it's a bit of a, it's suburban hell. It's really what it is.
Yeah, but that's why Astro brings the fun there, and the Astro crew typically stays at the host, the venue or the hotel. It's like we're the only ones that go out, really.
Right.
So maybe we'll grab the people who are like, hey, you want to get out of here? It's like we got just the place or
Uh-huh.
places, yeah, and then they'll come with us.
That's what we had my day job with the CEO of the company at an event. And I go, listen, I don't know what you're doing tonight, but I am the de facto dive bar tour guide for this town. I just want you to know this in case. And he's like, next time, you could just see the look on his face. He wanted to go. So that I definitely don't mind holding that title.
Yeah, like where haven't I gone that I need to go? I've been to the usual Temple Bar, Smalls, Nancy Whiskey, of course, our favorite whiskey in the jar.
No, I told you there's like 16 bars in Hamtramck that you haven't seen yet. Like
Okay,
you can pretty much like between, like I said, Baker's and Trixie's and Susie's and Polish Sea League and um there's so many. Like it's one of those things where if you can't even go one and done at 15 bars, you've missed another 30. Like there's so many places down there.
okay, my liver is ready, my friends. My
Yeah,
liver is
yeah.
ready.
I thought I was gonna dry out because I'm going to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm like, they go, you got to dry out till Ireland. I'm like, no, I can't because Astro this weekend.
It's not drying out. You're training. Like, if you're running a marathon, you're training for the Olympics. You don't just stop before the Olympics.
See now
You
that's
you
why
keep
you're a
running.
prophet. You're a prophet and a gentleman. See how this goes? Yeah.
Yeah, I do gotta pay tribute to, in my mind, the best dive bar I've ever been in, which unfortunately sits vacant right now. Tom's Tavern on 7 Mile.
Yeah.
Um,
R.I.P.
yeah, if I win the lottery, because I think the structure is still there, right?
I don't even know if you'd want to call it a structure, bro. I'm just
I mean,
saying.
it wasn't before, but I only made it there twice, but I have such fond memories there. Like it's that
Didn't we take
ingrained in
you
my
and
life.
Mike there like the last time it was open? Then we tried to go back and it was closed. I'm trying to remember.
We never even made it. We were at the Zeke's barbecue, which isn't there anymore in Ferndale, and the bartender was like, "You don't want to go over there. They're not. The guy died. It's not open anymore." And I remember being so crushed that it was gone. Yeah, I did take Mike Zapsik there. It was
Yeah.
great, and Mike, he's sober, but he still like had the greatest time.
He's the most sweet human being. I'll never forget when he hung out with us till 2 a.m. and didn't drink and watched us idiots. And he was like, had the, he's put it the, time of his life. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine if I was sober right now, having to hang out with us idiots and you eating old egg rolls from the bin that's been left out since 8 p.m. And dancing to really bad music. It was a beautiful night. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is God bless Mike Zapsik. It wasn't just one night. He did it like 3 nights in a row where and not only that, I borrowed my mom's car so we could get around. So he was the DD at the end. So yeah, every night we handed him the keys and he got me back safely, and God bless him. Although by the third night, I think it was a Sunday night, I think we were at Smalls, and he had enough, and rightfully so. We'd been going hard like all
Oh
weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey man, I think it's time to go." And Tip's like, "No, we're just getting started." And he looks at me, he's like, "We are going now." And we're all making fun, and we're like, "Okay, Dad. Okay, you gotta kill the party nights, Dad." And yeah, I feel like a jerk, but
Every group of friends needs a Mike Zapsik. He's not only the voice of reason. He
absolutely.
makes sure we're safe. He looks out for us. He looks over the corner. He is.
Yeah, but
He's a
don't
great.
be fooled. He used to be that guy, so he knows damn well what it's like to be, on the fourth night and then just overdoing it and getting wasted. So he
Yeah.
was that guy, and now he's much smarter than us.
Oh,
Definitely.
indeed. So I got to ask you, Jeff Anderson, Astronomicon was in Sterling Heights was like the first time he's ever done a con,
Yeah.
and they got him back. Is he like? Does he got the bug now? Did he realize it's not a stink show?
Yeah.
Like, is he? I mean, what's going on his side of the world?
Yeah, I think that very first show, Astronomicon, I think 3 or 4 was his very first convention. And it was, if you guys remember, it was February 2020. So you guys know, we all know what happened after that. He had all these shows lined up that he couldn't do. But I remember that one, we kept looking. I was like, man, is he having a good time? Is he having a good time? Please have a good time. Cause we want him to do more. And, yeah, and he had a good time. I think he's up to like number 20 now.
Oh, good for him.
And he's coming back. And not only that, I saw him last week in Pensacola. So soon he's gonna be doing more than me.
I was gonna say, yeah, and that was he was sitting by Bam Margera, and I wanted him to sign a skateboard so bad, and he was never at his table, and after a while I just gave up. So I was like,
Yeah, he was drunk.
which is fine.
Not when you want him to sign a skateboard, like
Fair.
yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like you take your driver's license picture drunk. So if you get pulled over, the picture looks the same as you right now. It's kind of
Yeah.
same principles apply, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw that story. So, Bam, my friend Jack is his like con manager. He books him at the conventions and goes and then like collects the money and all that. I remember flipping on TMZ one day and I see a video of Bam punching my friend Jack in the face.
Oh my God.
He was all coked out or something. He was mad about something, and I'm like, Jack, are you okay? He's like, man, why does Bam wear so many rings? And he's still got this divot in his face. I saw him last week. And I'm like, hey man, how's it going? He's like, good. Me and Bam are still going. I'm like, you still manage that guy? Like after he punched you in the face.
Right.
But
well,
yeah.
The thing, I guess he got pissed because someone kept bringing up Ryan Dunn, and like I wouldn't want to, just say thanks for the laughs, bro. Like, don't
why?
Like, asking dumb shit. Like, come on, man. It's like I don't really blame him for like bailing a little bit, but it's just one of those things. Where it's like, have some damn manners. Put on some deodorant and have some damn manners. I think those are the 2 rules to follow when you go to a con.
Yeah, and every con's got to have that train wreck guest. So,
remember that one time? Yeah. Speaking of remember that one time, we haven't talked, I don't think, since. But I think you saw it on Facebook. I did get to travel to Red Bank and go see the Stash. You were away at a con, but I got to take a picture in front of the Quick Stop, which was it's one of those iconic things that I think everyone has to do, and you don't realize it's just a store on the corner and it's still in operation. And I bought a couple bottles of water and some Pringles, and there's just some dude behind the counter. He's like, "Oh, what's up?" And putting up with idiots like me taking pictures outside. And there's townhouses now, because I had to watch the movie over to see what it looked like. And like now there's townhouses across the street where it's vacant land, and but it's still sitting there. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, you got to go. It's a landmark. I remember the first time I went in 1996, and I went in there, and I think we probably had the same impressions. Like, wow, it's small in here.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell did they make a movie in here?
The only
It's
thing I didn't
tiny.
look for was the phone. I think everything else I'm like, "Oh, that's that," you know, the cooler, like
I think
everything. Yeah, but it's a little teeny store.
the phone's still there.
Is it really?
Yeah. I remember so Kevin built a podcast theater next door called the Smodcastle,
Yeah.
and he told me he went in there and the owner of the quick stop was like, "Hey, look, Kevin, I started selling CBD products. I got some like CBD joints, I got edibles." Kevin's digging through that. He's like, "Hey, man, where did you get these?" Like, "Oh, I went up to New York and so, like, some guy sold these to me." And Kevin's like, "This ain't CBD, bro. This is like
Oh.
this is real weed, and it wasn't legal here yet." He's like, "You might want to be a little careful with this." So it's so funny.
So speaking of that, how the hell I don't but Astronomicon landing Kevin Smith is kind of
Yeah,
has to be like their landmark get. Like that had to, and he's Saturday only, right?
yeah, that's all he needs. He can knock everything he needs out on one
Right.
Saturday.
Is he doing a one night with? Because I remember when he did Windsor, he did a one night with, and that was the time I heard about the movie Tusk, and he talked for 4 hours without breathing.
Yeah, I
And
believe. Don't quote me on this because I didn't even look. I just kind of assumed, but I believe he's doing a Q and A. He's somewhere.
I think he's
I'll
doing a
look.
panel, but I don't know if it's like this one was like a huge auditorium, 1,500 people type of thing. With this,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine like the line to see him, to take a picture with him. To now, are you guys doing a whole group shot with everybody, or
I think they usually do they usually do a Clerks 3 one with the cast of Clerks 3, and I'll go roll by with any friends that have bought that photo op. But what ends up happening is I'll try to leave, and all the other people's like, "Well, why didn't you just stay in the photo? You were in Clerks 3." And I'm
yeah,
like, "Okay." But the thing is, like, I don't get a cut of the photo op money, so I'm like, "Well, why?" Yeah, not that I care, but I'm like, "Hey, just add me then." Like, throw me like $3 for per photo. I can go
yeah.
drink all night at Whiskey in the Jar at least.
If you didn't cry at Clerks 3, you're not a grown man.
Yeah,
Like I
you're
grew up with that
heartless.
movie. Like
Absolutely
that
heartless.
movie got right in the feels, man. I was
Did
a couple
did
people
hit
told me I'm
home.
like bullshit. You're not getting me. They got
Yep.
me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the characters we've grown up with, worshipped for 20 some odd years, so
I thought it was just gonna be a spot fest, and it wasn't. It was like a really good movie. I was
yeah.
super impressed with it. I was gonna watch it either way, but like it was fan freaking tastic how well that thing was written.
Yeah, not to say that there aren't any cameos. There's an audition scene, and so you see like the Impractical Joker, you see like Fred Armisen. The one that cracked me up, and the one that we all love was Anthony Michael Hall just pops up
Yeah.
to audition for a role in the movie within a movie, and I'm like I was just dying in the theater. I was like,
I got
holy
to
crap!
I got to interview him for almost a half an hour.
Yeah, he's
And it
such a
wasn't an
great guy.
interview, more it was just like me taping us shooting the shit. And I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie, that was the highlight of probably my podcasting and con, like everything. It was the fact that I didn't clam up, because I remember when I met Joey Lauren Adams for the first time at Motor City, I couldn't say two words. Her and Brittany Daniel, I'm like, like complete idiot with words. And with Anthony Michael Hall, I'm like, you know, guy's a freaking god. And I sat and, of course he's got to drop the like Dave needed a bigger ego, but he's like, oh, he looks like John Hughes. That's how we remembered us, because he was like, oh yeah, your buddy looks like John Hughes. And I'm like, that's all he needs to hear. Come on.
yeah. Like, don't say that now. Like, we're never gonna hear the end of it, and we didn't. We
No,
didn't.
right. Remember that one time? Um, and how about like Jason Lee? I've never heard him go to any con. Does he usually go, or did like Kevin talk him in?
No,
How did he get roped into this?
no, he did one in pretty big one in Rhode Island, and Kevin was there, and Jason Mewes and a bunch of people. And again, we're holding our breath. Like, I hope he likes this because it would be really cool if he came out to the same shows we did. Um, and he ended up liking it. So I think this will be a second one ever,
If you're gonna
Astronomicon.
if you're gonna do any show in Detroit, it's Astro. Just the way, like those guys are so hands on. They're so good with everyone. Um, the crowd is always, it's super hot crowd all the time, super stinky too. But I digress. Um, but it's a good, fun, like it's just, the guys do an outstanding job. It's very not, it doesn't feel corporate at all, which is,
No. It's fun. It's
yeah.
fun, and yeah. And I mean, God bless the guys from Twisted, man. They know how to put on a show, and not only that, but they're true geeks. Like they're not. They're like, all right, yeah, we'll probably make some money, but we're doing this for fun, and I
Well, if you
love
think
that
about it,
philosophy.
no, it's let's do a con and invite all the people that we want to meet. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of the
yes, that's exactly it, and it
right.
worked. It worked, and then and everybody has fun, and why not? That's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not a fanboy, this is all kid shit. Buying comics and action figures. I mean dolls. I mean action figures. And if you don't, it brings out the kid, man. It's the whole point. Like you get to meet your heroes from back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a wrestling junkie, and I loved me some ECW. And to have Rhino, Sabu, the Sandman in one room, it's like I don't know. I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. It's gonna be complete overload.
I need to see this as you're just flipping out. I need to see this.
Well, I did when Big Mark, I don't know if you remember him, got married. We took him to Philly for an ECW reunion show that Tommy Dreamer put on. And Rhino, who I'm buddies with, got us in the back, and we're hanging out with everybody. Every legend you could possibly think about, from Road Warrior Animal to the whole entire ECW crew. We're all just sitting in a circle trashing on each other. And I go, if you would have told me this 25 years ago that I've been doing this, I'd smack you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And we just act like you've been there, and don't be a dick. I think it's like the rule of life, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just act like you've been there before. Don't flip out. Don't act weird. Don't stare at people. Yeah, and have a good time.
Well,
Very easy.
I remember when I first started talking to the Rhino, I was like, we went to a baseball game together, Tiger game opening day, and he must have got 100 effing Rhino and fist pumps. And I go, dude, does that ever get old? And he goes, that never gets old. You know what gets old? You remember that one time I met you at Walmart in '96, and you said sup? And he's like, you can't tell that story to me. I'm not. How am I gonna? I can't remember.
Yeah, you remember me, right? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, from that one year. Yeah,
Don't ever ask anyone that, ever. Just it's tough. Me being a complete idiot, I remember people going, oh my god, hey, I remember me from a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, no, I don't remember. I don't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday. You know what I mean? They have to say yes because you're a dick if you don't.
right. Yeah, you can't say no because you're gonna crush them. You're gonna crush them.
You go,
Exactly.
oh my god, how you been, bro? Yeah. What's the so let's go through that now. Since now they're on that,
Okay.
I always love the dumbest. You never answer this because you're a gentleman, but the dumbest
Okay.
shit people say to you, there has to be a couple.
I mean, I mean, all the questions are Kevin related.
Are they really?
Yeah, yeah.
So I hated that when we saw. I remember Joey Lauren Adams was doing a panel, and we went and sat in the panel. And I wanted to stand up and say, "What's a newbie?" in the worst way, but I just didn't do it for some reason.
That would have been,
know.
yeah, that would
I know.
would have been
Cliche.
Yes,
But
yes.
nobody asked anything about her. Everything was, what was it like working with, Adam Sandler? What was it like working with? And I'm like, God, I just sat there and I left and I go, what an awful, if you're going to ask her something, ask about her. What do you do on Saturday afternoon? What do you eat? What do you put on your pizza? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. What's your favorite Denny's order? Are you a Moons Over Miami or a Grand Slam? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's the one. I think I started it off with Anthony Michael Hall. I'm like, have you had Detroit pizza yet? And if you haven't, why not? And we started talking about food and life, and let him plug his projects because 3 people listen. So you had to get those 3, the audience out to, but no, it was, that's the thing. I never so when you sit in those what's it like with Kevin? What are you supposed to say? Oh, it's shit. It's you know what I mean? Yeah, it's great. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they expect to hear back? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a dumb question, but it's like, what's your favorite comic book of all time? I'm like, Avengers 214 is the first one I ever got. Obviously, that's my favorite one. So yeah, or not obviously,
but that's a good answer though, and it's not an awful question.
No, it's not.
I think it's a different question for you and for Zapsik, because Zapsik, what's your favorite comic book? That's like me going, pick a favorite kid, pick a favorite beer, pick a favorite shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, what's Kevin? What's it like working for Kevin? What's Kevin really like? I'm like, when I'm gonna say he's an asshole and he kicks children and he he drinks too much. None of his
he's wordy
cool.
in his social media posts.
Yeah, he is a cool guy. There's not, yeah, And at least this time, if they ask that, it's like, well, why don't you go meet him? He's right over there. Go ask him.
Well, he's not gonna have a table though. He's just doing pictures and is he signing?
Oh yeah, he'll be signing. I think you buy like a package,
Okay.
and you get a picture and you get an autograph. And but what's great about him, if you it's well worth it. He'll talk to you for like half an hour. Like you've seen him talk. He doesn't shut up.
Right.
Ironic for a guy called Silent Bob, but yes.
I think that was the irony in it,
Yeah,
That was I
for
introduced
sure.
my daughter to all three of the or Mallrats, Clerks, Chasing Amy, all that. So she's like, just wait, he talks. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things where she's trying to like get me to give up this and just watch the damn movie.
Um,
Just watch the damn movie. So
yeah, but I was thinking of the lineup. So I went over to the store to raid them for merchandise, like discounted stuff for the convention. And now I'm afraid that I don't have enough. Like I was like, wow, this is this could be a once in a gathering this big. This could be rare. So because
so
I don't know what to expect. People are gonna come out for Kevin, but they're gonna stick around and meet all of us, I imagine.
and they
So
got to bring you Fago and Better Made. So
oh sure, I gotta put out the call too. Yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah. They only you gotta tell people you want it and they'll bring it. So oh man, that's
Right.
the best. That's the
I
best.
got to tell a John Lovett story since he's gonna be there. You got to hear this. I go to Minneapolis for a business trip, right? And I had that knee surgery, so they like pushed me in a wheelchair. It's the greatest gift I got was going through an airport in a wheelchair. Like I highly recommend it for anybody that has knee surgery. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm sitting. It's got a mask on because it's still during like end of COVID, and this guy, he's got a mask on too, and he keeps staring at me, and I see it in his eyes. I go, it's friggin' John Lovitz, and they go, bullshit. I go, look at him, he's right there, and he's in our like Delta hangar ready to go or whatever it's called, ready to go to fly to Detroit. And they're like, what's he doing in Detroit? So I Google it and they're like, dude, he's playing Ridley's this weekend. He's flying to Detroit. So this business trip, the guy always booked first class for everybody. So I'm sitting in first class and here comes John Lovitz walking by me, sitting in coach, just
Oh,
staring. He's staring at me like going, why are you sitting here? He's giving me that look like you need to give up your seat for me. And I'm like, it was just such an uncomfortable stare that it's like, it's haunting. It haunts me to this day.
how you put the critic in coach?
Right.
Yeah. The man was on The Simpsons for God's sakes, and he's
Oh, he's a
sitting in
god.
coach.
But
Yeah,
I couldn't like, here's the thing. I'm sitting in this stupid chair. I'm not going to pull my mask down and go, holy shit. But that was the weekend where the roast master was in our hotel bar. What the hell's his name? I can't think of his damn name. Jeffrey Ross. And it's like midnight, and he walks into our hotel bar, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And I'm wearing my PBR jacket, and he's like, "Staying as far away from you." So I'm like, "All right, I'll take that as like a quarter roast from the god himself." So
yeah, yeah. Well, you weren't being roasted, so he gave it a shot.
he was wearing a Scully, Boston Scully hat too. So I'm like, "You can't throw shade wearing a hat like that in this place." So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a
absolutely
little
not.
rough. It was a
No
little rough.
way.
He's and that's the thing. It's like I'm not going to talk to him because it's all. What am I going to talk about other than the stuff that you see him on TV for, right? And so
Yeah.
we left him be. And then as I'm walking by, I go, "Have a good night, man," because I told him which bar to go to. And as you take a sip of Malort and make a Jaeger face, but he's
Yeah.
like, appreciate the tip on the bar. I'm like, yeah, no worries, have a good night. And all he's talking about is roasts with this rando. So it's like,
Yeah.
I guess it's unavoidable, right?
Yeah. But you gave him the suggestion. Had you seen him there later, like, rounds of drinks for everybody. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what
yeah.
is
Speaking of which,
yeah.
yeah, no, I saw the two-way reply to one of my Malort posts. And
Hey, really?
yeah, I just remember how much I miss that place. Like the first time I ever went was with you guys. So
Did we ring the bell when? Yeah, I think we did rang the bell.
it was the first thing you did,
Yeah, because
goofball.
we 4 people in there, so you had to buy a shot for everyone if you ring the bell.
I'm fine with that. Let's ring that bell.
See, there's the 3 different tours. There's one is two-way, ABIC, the Carbon Athletic Club, right? That's kind of on the southwest side of Detroit. It's outside of Corktown. Then you have the Cass Corridor. Then you have Hamtramck. So we'll plot out our assassination, one drink at a time.
Okay, the Uber drivers in Detroit are about to become very rich. Is what you're saying?
And Randy's invited too, even though he said nothing today.
Well, I was just going to say, if you need a Carbon Athletic Club member to get you in, that's me.
You are a member?
I am a member of Carbon Athletic Club.
I am a member of the Polish Sea League. I remember I bought it right on the verge of like not knowing my name. And like you have to knock on the door at this place, Ming. And they're like, you remember? And I happen to open my wallet and going, yep, here's my card. And they're like, come on in. So it's membership has its privileges, right? And this
Is
place
it hard getting a membership?
No, you got to give them $10.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. That's my goal then, is to become members of as many clubs as I can.
Right. And then yeah, we'll have to go eat at Polish Village too, down in the basement.
We haven't done that in so long. Yes. Yeah. That place is great.
There's a few other places that have opened up in Hamtramck. It's actually got some really cool places that have sprouted up. Yeah, it's getting to be a cool place again. It took a dive for a while, but no pun intended.
Yeah, I can't wait. There were some days I was like, man, maybe I should just move back. There really are yeah.
You know, here's the thing: when you're jet setting, though, like, you know, is there really, you know?
I guess not, but I truly miss hanging out with you guys. So
Yeah, no,
like
likewise, man. That's why I was sad when we went to Philly just for, you know, because a cheap flight. We're like, oh my god, flights are $120 to Philly. Let's go and just go eat sandwiches. And that's what we did. We just went and ate sandwiches. We hung out at the It's Always Sunny bar. We stayed there all night.
Oh,
like we were ready to go hopping, and we had such a good time there, and it's such a great place. We just like, let's just stay here all night.
Yeah, like why would we leave this?
Right.
There's no reason. Yeah. Yeah. We're home, right?
Do you know the story about that place?
I did know.
So it's just a bar, and I guess there was that cast of characters, like the Danny DeVito, and there was like the brother sister and the other two guys in Charlie Day. And like they were just regulars there. So like they literally based this series off these people that would come to the bar like 4 or 5 times a week and just argue about everything. And literally became like 17 seasons of like one of the best shows ever written.
Yeah, so the McPoyles really exist then.
Apparently. I didn't ask too many. Right. I felt weird. Like their pictures were all over the wall, but it wasn't the bar they go to. That bar's like in the warehouse district in Philly, but it's not a real bar.
Yeah. Right.
It's just the outside, you know, was like this warehouse. But yeah, no, it was and then dude, I gotta tell you, going to Red Bank later at night, it was during dusk, like when we left the store, and trying to find a pork roll sandwich after 5 p.m. was like pulling teeth.
Next time you come here, I have this place to take you to. So there is a pork roll only place called Johnny Pork Roll. And you know, their breakfast lunch place, they close at about 2:30 or whenever they run out. But sometimes if I walk, usually I'll walk by at like 5. I'll see like LED lights in there and they're blasting music, and the guy Johnny will come out. I was like, yo, Ming, come in. And I'm like, okay, I'll step in. He's like, yo, you want a beer? And he'll hand me a Modelo. I'll see all these other weird people in there, and like they're all just drinking in there after hours. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like,
it's so I go to a barber shop in by my house, and it's open as a barber until 5 o'clock, and then it turns into a techno joint. So where they cut the hair, they bring in DJs. Like I went there once at midnight, so went to this Irish pub around the corner. I'm like, oh my god, I heard my barbershop's open late. They were spinning the best electronic music I've ever heard in 10 years.
Man, I need to find this place for sure.
Yeah, it's called Boss Barber. It's in Rochester Hills, but yeah, phenomenal. Like you don't expect it. Like it's little like 3 steps down, and there's like a haircut place, and you're like,
yeah.
And they make great drinks. Yeah, it's like my neighbor got his beard done there, so I'm like, yeah, let me go there.
Yeah, I'll take you to the pork roll place. Yeah, pork roll and whiskey, and it's not a bar. They're not. I'm like, wait, you can't sell liquor here. He's like, well, I can give it away. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, all right then.
I will make a trip just for a pork roll. Like I almost ordered like a whole 10-pound like hunk of it.
A roll.
When I got home, because I couldn't get. Yeah, I didn't get it. Like we got cheesesteaks at like 8 different places.
Right.
We got the roasted pork and broccoli rabe. You know, in the train station or whatever. Like we got all of that, but like, yeah, I didn't get a pork roll. I was pissed. So, hey, the show's gonna drop on Thursday. We'll see you Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Astronomicon. You said no, Randy?
I'm going to publish it early.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
be in your feeds tomorrow morning.
Woo!
So Wednesday.
Randy working for booze. He knows.
Just because it's a, upcoming event.
Yeah.
Very quickly upcoming. So I'll publish it a day early.
We'll see Ming at Astronomicon Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Burton Manor in Livonia, Michigan. There is a good slider joint in Livonia called Bates. I'll have to I worked at a data center out there back in like the late 90s, and that was my Friday breakfast, was 4 sliders and a cup of coffee.
Yeah. They're open late. Are they 24/7?
I don't remember if they changed during COVID. I haven't been there in years. Big Mark lives out that way. We just went out there, but like I don't remember if they open late or not.
Well, only one way to find out. Let's hope that they are.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, a gentleman and a scholar, and Mr. Comic-Con himself, Ming Chen. Appreciate the time you spent with us. Look forward to tearing up Hamtramck and other dive bars this weekend.
Yeah, and if the show comes back next week, we've survived. So
yeah, and if Ming lives to tell the tale, if he brings Trish Stratus to Whiskey in the Jar, so we'll
let me work on that. We just manifested it.
It's all good. So, hey, thanks again for hanging out with us. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.